More bioavailable shows up on supplement labels constantly, and it almost never means what people assume. There are two completely different measurements hiding behind that one word, and today I'm walking through what each one actually claims and what it doesn't. Bioavailability describes the rate and extent to which an active ingredient becomes available in your bloodstream. A UC is commonly used to characterize total exposure, while Cmax and Tmax help characterize how quickly that exposure develops. Those are two different questions and they don't always move together. There are two different ways to measure it. Absolute bioavailability compares dose-normalized exposure after an oral dose with exposure after an intravenous reference dose. Intravenous administration is the reference point because it enters the bloodstream directly without passing through the gut wall or liver first. Relative bioavailability instead compares two non-intravenous formulations against each other or the same formulation under two different conditions like fed versus fasted with no intravenous reference involved at all. Here's the part that matters for supplement shopping. Dietary supplements are ordinarily marketed in non-intravenous forms, so a more bioavailable claim about a supplement may describe a relative comparison or may not identify the comparator at all. A small 2008 pilot crossover study of a curcumin preparation called BCM95 enrolled 11 healthy subjects and reported an AUC about 6.93 times that of standard curcumin powder. That's a real published number. The study didn't include an intravenous arm, and several of its authors were affiliated with the company that manufactures BCM95. 6.93 times more bioavailable means the formulation outperformed one specific comparison product in one small study. It does not mean the formulation delivers most of the administered dose. That would require an absolute measurement this study never made. AUC plots blood concentration against time and calculates the total area under that curve, a single number for total systemic exposure, not a peak or a speed. It's also sensitive to conditions like meal timing, which is why some drug labels require an empty stomach. Cmax is the highest concentration a dose actually reaches. In the classic vitamin C study, the same 1.25 gram dose produced a measured peak of about 135 micromoles per liter given orally, compared with about 885 micromoles per liter given intravenously, roughly a 6.6-fold difference in peak concentration from route alone at the exact same dose. Modeling in that same study predicted a maximum tolerated oral regimen would reach only about 220 micromoles per liter, while a 50-gram intravenous dose could reach roughly 13,400. Oral vitamin C absorption saturates well before the gut can move a large dose into the blood. The max is simply the time it takes to reach that peak concentration. Dosage form and route can influence it, but the faster dissolving product doesn't prove a faster Tmax. That has to be measured directly. Caffeine, the active in our energy focus strip, already reaches near complete oral bioavailability, so there's very little unabsorbed dose left to rescue. A shorter oral disintegration time doesn't establish a shorter Tmax on its own. Whether the finished strip changes peak timing is unknown because it hasn't undergone a human pharmacokinetic study of its own. I treat rapid disintegration as a formulation target, not evidence of faster absorption. Dietary supplement makers generally aren't required to demonstrate bioequivalence to a reference product the way generic drugs are, and the FDA doesn't require pre-market approval of supplements. FTC rules still require any claim to be truthful and substantiated. Asking, relative to what, is the single most useful question a buyer can bring to that word.